think it's working. Oh, it is. You said hi.
Hello. Who am I saying hi to?
The world, the people outside.
Hi,
The
world,
people in the book of
outside.
the face. Happy Thanksgiving the other day.
The other day.
The other day. Was your Thanksgiving good?
It's wonderfully delicious.
Was it? What did you have?
Was. The seafood dressing.
Mm.
God answered my prayer with that one, though. I'll tell you that much.
It was
Lord,
real
please send me a wife who can cook.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not going to starve for nobody, but...
Good. You're not gonna starve for nobody?
Absolutely not.
And then the little bootleg peach cobbler cup was cute. That was really good. That was my first time I made it.
That's what I'm talking about.
It was yummy.
Dream girl. Dream woman. Dream wife.
You gassing me. I like when you gas me, sir.
I'm here for it.
Okay. I really almost got sidetracked. Why are you so fine? Okay. So, what are we talking about today? We're talking about like how we wait and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
How that works for us. So, clearly I came to Texas, and this is my third time seeing this dude in person. So the first was he came for Father's Day before we got together, and we went to the movies. The second was when I got proposed to, and then this is the third time. So it's real easy to maintain, right, when you're not with each other, but when we're in each other's presence, I wouldn't say that it's hard, because I do feel like we have good boundaries and standards that we've set for ourselves before we met each other, but it does get, what's the word I want to use, babe?
Difficult.
Yeah, difficult when you finally are in person, because it's easy to do something when you're not being tested or tempted by it. So once you get in a situation where now that stuff is being tried a little bit, yeah, it can kind of feel different. So I have been abstinent for 3 years, and he's been abstinent for
17 as of October.
That's a long time. That
Yeah,
was the
it
Lord.
is.
The Lord.
Nobody but.
I would be like, I don't know how he did it, but the way that he is with me, or how he is in general, and how that shows up in our relationship, I fully understand how it's worked out that way. I am a firm believer that what you want to work will work, right? So anything that you need to put effort into in order for it to be what you want it to be, you have to be consistent at it. And you for sure are consistent with like your boundaries, your standards, all of the things. Like, I am not used to some of those things, but it's still beneficial. And I think that, I know that it kind of probably feels like we bump heads sometimes about it, or we have, because there's things that I don't necessarily have that standard. Prime example, we don't kiss, right?
Why you look at me like that? But yes, that is true.
And when can we kiss?
At the altar.
At the altar. Now, how long have you been doing that? Like, how long has that been your thing?
It's been 12 years now. I want to say as of December 2012. No, excuse me, December 2011.
Okay. And when was your last relationship?
Last relationship ended in June 2018.
So the point is, he's been practicing this. He hasn't just been saying he's not doing it, but he's been single, because then it'll be like, well, duh, you don't have nobody to kiss. No, he has somebody to kiss. You just wasn't kissing. When I get to get kissed out, you feel me? Okay. But no. So one of the things that I do, because I can't get a real kiss, is I always take his hand and I do like this whenever I want to kiss, because this is, to me, touch is like, it's everything.
It is.
So since I can't get a actual kiss, his hand to my forehead is like a kiss on my forehead, and he laughs every time I do it, but it's a real moment for me every time I do it, because it's fulfilling, or filling the gap, should I say. How do you feel about that when I do that?
You know, I appreciate it, because that means that you are willing to honor the fact that I don't want to touch lips.
Yeah.
So you found another way of doing it that was just as respectful.
Right. Is it hard for you?
It is. It's difficult. I'm human. I'm a man. You're beautiful. You're attractive. And you can have luscious lips. So of course it's difficult. I just have to, practice self-control.
Gotcha.
I'm a firm believer. I heard one of my apostles say it years ago, and it always stuck with me. God will keep you if you want to be kept.
For sure. You gotta want to be kept, though. That's a real thing right there. So, like, what has been the most difficult thing when we're together? to like either not do or to just maintain the standard and the boundaries?
Certain touch that, and let me say this, like, I'm not hyper religious in the fact that you can't touch someone, that you can't kiss someone. I don't believe it's a sin to do either, so it's definitely no condemnation or anything. That's just a boundary I set many years ago, and I want to stick to it and hold to it. But there is a side that, looking at it, and everybody has to know their limitations. If you open the door to one thing, it could open the door to other things.
Sure.
So that's what I try to be more careful of and more mindful of. Because let's say today I break that standard of 12 years of not kissing. Then what else do I flirt with that I open the door to? I say, well, okay, it ain't like God gonna get me. It ain't like go to hell behind this. It ain't like this is a huge sin.
Yeah.
But me knowing me, what will that open the door to? And at the same time, I still have to be mindful of you and how I treat you. And if I break a standard or a boundary today, then how do you look at me?
Oof, that's good.
And not just how do you look at me, but also how do you respond to me? Because as much as you love me, as much as I love you, as much as you saved and love the Lord, you still have certain interests and desires and things that are pleasurable to you, because you're human.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. But there's also still that part that is like, let's see how far I can take it.
Right. Don't play with it. Don't play with that. It's dangerous.
So yeah, that's what I'm. No.
So how hard has it been? Like, okay, so in each relationship that you had, for some reason I feel like I'm your problem child. Was I the hard? I don't want to say break in because that sounds a little weird, but like as far as adjusting goes, has it been difficult for women to come into agreement with how you are? Because most of the time it's women who are like, I don't want to have sex before marriage or whatever, I'm celibate for whatever, and the man kind of doesn't want to deal with that. So how has it been for you with having these boundaries and these standards in dating, being a man, and then especially with the no kissing thing? Like, am I the worst one? Did I give you the most problems, or is it like a normal thing?
You are certainly the most challenging.
Look at that honesty. Just
you know,
shame me in front of the people. It's okay.
It's the honesty part, right? But I've had people in the past say, no, we couldn't date because they felt like the no kissing was too much. But they would ask, like, can we hold hands? I'd be like, can we hold hands? I just don't want to kiss. That's the promise I made to myself.
Yeah.
And that's the promise I made to God. And, you know, but they still didn't want to honor that, and I certainly respect it. I can't be mad at that. So
listen, it's a hard boundary, bro.
It is. And then you have this one person who comes into your life who's just like, I respect you, but I don't know. I'm saved too. I love the Lord too, but and then you kind of push the envelope just a little bit.
I pushed it a lot, but I will say, like, I definitely respect that about you, though. I definitely respect that I can't change your mind about something, because I wouldn't want you to try to change my mind either. And ultimately, this is the important thing. I prayed for discipline, right? And I believe that I have disciplined myself very well. But I think when you're growing, discipline is always going to grow too. Like, you should want to be more disciplined in more areas, right? So how you are just further disciplines me, and I know I didn't say that right, but it just helps me. So to somebody else it might seem excessive, it might seem like a lot, but for me, I feel like it's one of the prayers that I prayed being answered, because you have so much structure. Like, you have so much, just, oh my gosh, and you're so graceful about your boundaries. Like, you've never yelled at me about it. I've never tried to kiss this man regardless of how he felt. It's not like I try to play him and, oh, you gonna kiss me. Like, I've never done any of that.
And got mushed.
Right. He ain't mushed my face. He ain't, you know what I'm saying? So it's not that, but it's just like, I know that I can't talk you down off of that. And I love that about you, because it goes back to what you said. Like, if you'll do one thing, what else would you do? And then how would I look at you? Because I don't want to be with somebody who says one thing and that they have these standards and they live this life, but then, you know what I'm saying? I look cute one day and I could just change your mind. No, I need stability, spiritual stability, and spiritual standards. And you have all those things. So I'm grateful that your no is your no. And it just makes me want to stand by even more, because 3 years is nothing compared to yours, but you know, it's still a good thing for me. It's still I did it and I'm proud of myself. I've been delivered and all those things. So I would definitely say, like, coming up to your standards, so to speak, or meeting you at your standards has been challenging, but it has been a good challenge that I am actually grateful for. And I know in the beginning it's like I didn't tell you that all the time, but now I try to make sure I tell you, like, yeah, I appreciate all of your boundaries, whether I agree with them or not, whether I understand them or not. I'm willing to meet you there because I want you to meet me with mine.
Right, it's the meeting part, not coming up. And I think I used to say, and I used to say coming up, and I think I've had that a few conversations like that. And I will go back and think about it, even just as a recent, like, you know, it's not coming up or coming down, it's meeting the person where they are. Because I feel like coming up or coming down can be a little condescending.
And it can feel that way too. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for correcting me, because we definitely did talk about that. Okay. So what questions do you have for me? Or is there any questions that you think they would want to ask me that you...
Why did you decide to make this particular video?
A lot of people are always asking me, like my cousin asked me the other day, like, are we waiting? And I'm like, girl, ain't nobody having sex over here. Nobody. Okay? And that's a real question. It's like, oh, so what are you guys doing? What aren't you guys doing? And I think that's very big, because some believers feel like, oh, as long as we're in love, we can have sex. Or if I'm engaged to them, then we can have sex because I know I'm going to marry them. And that's one of the things that you had talked about too, is like, people will get engaged, oh, we're going to get married. They end up having sex and then they don't get married for whatever reason. So it's like you went into that sin, or you broke that covenant that you made with God about your abstinence. So that's why I wanted to make it, because nobody is having sex over here. Like, I've come too far, he's come too far, and I just feel like it would be a slap in God's face, independently of him, for me to mess up. Also, I've always said I want to marry somebody I've never slept with, and if I'm engaged to you and we can still sleep together, I wouldn't want to marry you. I would feel like, okay, you know what, he ain't it, because I just really believe that God will give me that grace and that power to not fall. Right? Now to him who is able to keep you from falling. I believe that he would keep me from falling. He would keep me from sinning. So when people ask me that question, it's like, first of all, you should know me enough to know that I'm not going back to nothing for nobody. I'm not going to hell for not a piece of nothing. So, but I think it's helpful to like help people like get to a place where they can be celibate, be committed in a relationship, but also serve God and not be resentful that they have to wait, because waiting sucks. And then I get with somebody and then I still gotta wait, and I can't kiss, I can't do nothing, I can't really do any of the things that somebody might deem as normal, you know, or typical or okay. So yeah, that's what made me want to make it, because like a lot of people are failing in this area of being able to be abstinent while they're engaged in this walk. Because being engaged is not a pass to go fornicate.
That part.
It ain't. Yeah, and I don't want to mess up anything. I don't want God to like hold up a blessing or not give me a blessing. I don't want to start our marriage off wrong because we are sinning, you know? Yeah.
I like that. But you know, I feel like it's important also to note the fact of why I chose the no kissing.
That was gonna be my question.
Oh, that was gonna be a question.
Yeah, I was doing that.
For me, my thing is I date with the intent or the purpose of marriage. So me dating from like one person to get to find them out and figure them out and then date another person, that's just not my thing to do. And I can only speak from my experiences, is that it can be a lot of wasted time. When God can show you up front, like, nah, that's not the person that I have for you. Like, keep moving, keep waiting, keep whatever. And it's not even necessarily like there's something wrong with the person or necessarily something wrong with you. It's just simply that's not the person that God has for you. Or or the fact that, hey, maybe you could get distracted by something.
Right.
And that person may be sold out, love God, and all kind of stuff. Been there as well, and God was still like, nope, keep waiting. And I'm like, for what, sir? I don't get it.
What am I waiting?
I'm trying to do this thing the right way. As far as I know, she trying to do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the person has all this stuff going for them, and God is like, no, keep moving, keep waiting. I know what I have for you. I just need you to trust me. You don't have to like it. You don't have to feel good. You're entitled to that. But I need you to trust me.
Yeah.
And so after that last relationship, which ended in December 2011, and I was listening to a sermon, Dr. R.A. Vernon, and he was telling the story of a couple who was in his church. I think they were dating for a year. And the one gentleman said to him that, you know, I'm in this relationship, but we're not going to kiss. And even the pastor thought that was like, yeah, player. Like, I don't know how that gonna work.
Yeah.
And he said, when he married them at the altar, he said that he literally felt the power of that kiss. He was like, as though the angels ordained this marriage. And from that point on, I said, I want that.
Right.
Like, granted, there was still like it started out as like the hyper religious, like, oh, I want it to be real deep because I want people to see and da 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 da. But as years went by, like my perspective changed, and it was like, okay, I still want it, but I've made it this far into my walk with God and into this particular standard or boundary rather, that I do want God to honor my first kiss. And at the wedding, I want people to be able to see like, oh snap, like it was real. He wasn't just talking it, like he actually lived it. To the point where the pastor or whoever marries us, they feel it and they can tell like it was something different about this one. Like, I've seen couples come and go, I've seen people come and go, I've married so many people, but it was something different about this one. And like, granted, over the years I got a little less deep, so to say, but I still hold on to it. And
Thank God.
but actually recently, I don't even think I didn't tell you this, but like, I'm still kind of like pleading with God, like, I want it to be something that's noticeable. Not in the sense like I want the validation from like the people around or anything, but when people see it, they be like, wait, like, that was real.
It's speaking for itself.
Right.
Yeah. People
who may know like my lifestyle, people who know your lifestyle, when they see us, they can say, oh snap, it is possible.
Yeah.
Or God really was in that. Because at the end of the day, our relationship, our marriage, whether it's friendship, marriage, parenting, whatever it is, it should still point to God.
Yes.
Period. Right? And when we do it His way, the holy way, the righteous way, you know, it is that joy and that contentment like we talked about today. It's that true happiness that, you know, when you do it the world's way, when you do it the way that you was brought up in a certain culture or tradition, you know, you may have some fun doing it, I'm not gonna lie, but I want the overall contentment and joy and satisfaction of hearing God say, well done.
Yeah, come on, sir, that part. Okay, so for the sake of this not being super long, what is one piece of advice you would give a man who is waiting for his wife and who's trying to be celibate or is celibate, not knowing how much further they have to go? Because you've waited a long time. What would you say that you think if someone could have given you, or if you could give someone else, what would it be?
Something I was thinking about this morning, which was trusting God with your happiness. Right? It's so easy, or it's easier rather, to trust God in all these different areas, even as a sold out believer. But do we honestly trust God for our happiness? Right? That goes all the way down to, God, I want my spouse to look this way. I want her to come this way. I want her to be this way.
Okay, I wasn't it. Okay, I got stuff like a kid. He didn't want a kid. Okay, it's a different story for a different day.
Thank you.
But yes.
Thank you. And I love everybody. But no, do we really trust God with our happiness? To the point where, and I'm all for a list, right? Mm-hmm. As long as the list is structured by the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
Right? I think there's a right way, there's a wrong way to do it. Because a list can kind of like keep you aware of what you're looking for, what you're not looking for. But the thing is, do you still submit that list to God?
Yes.
Like, this is my heart desire. This is my intent.
Yeah.
But, sir, if there's anything on here that I need to keep my eyes open to that you have for me that's not on this list, help me to put it on the list. And if my desires are in the wrong place, go ahead and erase that. And that's trusting God with your happiness. And that's drawing closer to Him. That's getting into His Word. That is seeking Him, fasting. But also, I'm a huge proponent of watching your influences. The music you listen to, the movies you watch, the conversations you have with people, the people you're around, whether it's your family, friends, co-workers, all of those are different influences or reference points that people try to base their life off of. And it's not all bad, but is it rooted in God though? And it's not to be hyper spiritual, over zealous or whatever, but I know for me, the foundation of my life is truth, which is found in Him and His Word, and it hasn't led me wrong yet. It's been painful. It's been very uncomfortable. But has always yielded the truth and everything.
That's good. I think just to add to that, you need to find somebody who's willing to be okay with your standards too. Because sometimes we want to change people, or we think that over time, you know, they'll be okay with it, and they really won't. Because sometimes that compromise can be a point of contention later on. So you need to find somebody who values what you value and who's willing. It's not so much of a compromise, who can look at it and say, you know what, that might not be my standard or what I need, but it's going to benefit me regardless. And that's how I feel. So a lot of things that may not be my standards that are yours, I know that it's going to benefit me just because of the type of man that you are. Like, I get to be the recipient of all the things that you're getting from your own standards and your own boundaries and your own commitment. So yeah, that was some good advice, Hubs.
I don't want to come behind you, but I feel like
Go ahead.
I really want to. And you so tapped into it. When we went over John 15 that day, where Jesus says, you didn't choose me, but I chose you. And whatever you pray to the Father in my name, He'll give it to you so that you'll bear fruit and your fruit remains. And we will point out the fact that when a man is connected to God, God is going to give him a desire and an interest for the type of woman and the wife that he needs. Not necessarily that he wants, but that he needs.
Yeah.
Although He did give me some wants. Appreciate you, sir. But definitely the needs.
Yeah.
And so He shaped my heart for the woman that He wanted for me, according to the purpose that He has for me. So now when I'm aligned with Him, I knew what to look for.
That's good.
And even if it didn't come in the package that I was looking for, I knew it when I heard it. I knew it when I saw it. And therefore, with her being connected to me, she already knows what to pray for. She already knows to go to my head. She already knows that, okay, even if I'm out of alignment or if I'm missing something, distracted, it may be a way that you can't communicate to me because I may have a certain barrier up for whatever reason. But you know that because I am submitted to God, you go to my supervisor, and my supervisor will come back to me.
A-line right to the office.
So I love that part because it's also done with such grace and humility. Because you don't have to call out everything. Everything doesn't have to become a conversation or an argument. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing when I'm praying about something. I love you.
Sorry.
When I'm praying about something and you will confirm it, if not every time, in your own way. It's like, yeah, I was talking to the Father about that. Because had you brought it to me in a certain way, maybe my pride would have kicked in. And I couldn't have listened. Or I could have been just more distracted with everything else. I'd be like, I'm going to talk about that right now.
Yeah.
But I can't talk about that right now.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I thank you.
You're welcome.
It
I'm
won't
still
be made for
learning.
me.
I am though.
That part.
Yes.
I was saying that was a kissing moment.
Yes, that's the moment I would have went in and tried to give me some lips, boy. Bless the Lord. Okay. Well, good job. Thanks, babe. Thanks for talking to the people in me. Mike, did we?
My pleasure.
Oh, it was a good 25 minutes though. So watch it, all of it, and then we'll do other stuff later. I'm going home tomorrow, and I'm really sad about it. I'm trying not to like cry every 5 seconds about it, but that's okay because the next time I come to Texas, I'll be coming home.
Hey.
And then I don't gotta leave my man no more.
Last name changed and everything.
And I get kisses.
That part. I'm here for it.
We're here for it.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the vows. I'm excited about the kisses. I'm excited about moving and starting over. And yeah, that'll be another video, how he feels about the whole hopping into a Ready, Set, Go family. Whew. I just want to say, y'all, he got prophesied to that his wife was going to have a kid.
Oh, God.
But yet he didn't want to be with nobody with a kid. How that work? Tell the people bye.
Bye, people.
Bye.
Lovely people.